Arjun Ram, a first generation postgraduate student here at IIM Sirmaur, hailing from a rural village ensconced in the Western Ghats called Manaka in the state of Kerala, the God's own country. I am also the youngest placement coordinator of the Corporate Relations and Placement Committee, PHM. I have been passionately enticed by how different elements and actors of the civic society operate from a very young age, which navigated me to the auspices of the esteemed Tata Institute of Social Sciences, from where I completed my bachelor's in the social sciences, a liberal arts degree. From what began as a plan to recalibrate my competitive exam participation that had halted almost fully post my selection at TISS, CAT went on to become an examination that excited, enlightened, and upskilled me to a level beyond that I had expected. Preparing for CAT 2020 was laden with multiple challenges, given that I prepared living in a rural village where lack of accessibility, poor internet penetration, and an environment that dampened ambition proved to be the holy trinity that challenged me to the core. My core strength has always been my command over the English language from both an examination perspective and from a communication line. Therefore, I started building on that to kickstart my preparation for CAT. Having been a school topper back in high school as well as in my higher secondary school, mathematics was a strong suit, but it was an area I had stopped engaging with much during college. Thus, CAT preparation essentially proved to be a trip back to school, revisiting the fundamentals that are integral to cracking both the quants and data interpretation questions. My interview lasted for almost 20 to 25 minutes, posing no candidates or threatening questions as I was well prepared and composed. Thus, I was confident throughout and was able to sustain a relevant discussion on certain sector-specific questions as well as personal ones, those which inquired how I, being a social sciences graduate, would fit in both the MBA ecosystem as well as the corporate world as a whole. It ended on a high note with me having $1 million smile on my face. On the days leading up to the results, I was on field collecting data for my final year research dissertation at the Tata Institute of Social Sciences. Getting selected at the Himalayan IIM came as a very pleasant news, given that my love for the mountains and my aspiration to get into an IIM found a happy marriage at IIM Sirmaur. Having already interned for almost 3 months at the Himalayan IIT Mandi, back when I was an undergrad, the suggestion of going back to the mountains to resume my higher education for a full 2 years was the best news I had received in a long time. India was in the slow recovery period post the disastrous second wave of the COVID-19 virus, when my plans for IIM Sirmaur had to be formalized. The uncertainty regarding offline classes affected the enthusiasm with which I was looking forward to IIM Sirmaur, as the online normal had not been a very engaging experience for me till then. But then there is a reason IIMs are institutes of national importance. The first term, which went fully online, was crafted in the most inclusive schema possible by the administration, and I did not feel out of place at all, even with my connectivity issues, as the PGP office was at the beck and call of all students facing technical difficulties. IIM Sirmaur is proving to be the best decision I have made in life till date, with the reasons being manifold. The diversity of the batches here at the Himalayan IIM entails a rainbow of student backgrounds, enterprising and literally fresh freshers, as well as experienced students that offer substance and anecdotal support during classes. From subjective 1,000-page classics of Marx and Ambedkar in my undergrad, to quirky and concise yet composite case studies that prompt real-time solutions that are extremely objective, pedagogy in an MBA has reaffirmed my faith in the problem-solving approach that should be imbued in education. The stimulated discussions in classes develop newer horizons to problem statements in real time. This results in instantaneous upskilling in terms of contouring and chiseling one's responses and absorption of concepts. As I stand close to the climax of my first year here at IIM Sirmaur, all I can say is that the learning curve has been one with no comparison, may it be in terms of course curriculum, the industry exposure, the peer groups, and of course the positions of responsibility. As I tell my friends back at TES when they inquire how things are at the Himalayan IIM, every day at IIM Sirmaur passes with a clearly quantifiable take. Having been the cultural secretary in the Students' Council whilst at TISS, I applied for the Cultural Committee, Sanskriti, as well as the Placement Committee. Having reached the final rounds of selection for both committees, I ended up at the Corporate Relations and Placement Committee, DHM. There hasn't been a better thing that has happened to me in my professional life. Even given the grilling work schedules and, of course, the shoulder-cracking responsibilities attested to the role of a placement coordinator at NIM, the multiple avenues for exploration that were opened for me post-selection has led to an unparalleled, rich portfolio of experiences which I would not trade off for anything in the world. Get ready to shift to the fifth gear. Keep yourselves sharp and look out for the signs on the road, for one wrong step means game over.